Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of Carnegie Borough Council to order. We'll start with a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve, would you please do a roll call?
Councilperson Sarsfield.
I'm here.
Councilperson DeLoss.
Here.
Councilperson Boyd.
Here.
Councilperson Navarro.
Present.
Councilperson Demko.
Here.
Council President Katina.
Here.
Mayor Kabisik. Here, we have one.
We'll now have any public comment on any of the listed motions this evening. Okay, seeing that there's no comment, we'll move forward with administration. Councilman DeLoss, or I'm sorry, Councilman Sarsfield.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion A is a motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting held on July 14th, 2014.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing that there's no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Motion B is a motion to approve the minutes from the council workshop meeting held on August 4th, 2014.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing that there's no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
My next list of motions are appointments to the Shade Tree Commission. And I don't know how many residents are familiar with it, but we've planted over 102 trees in about a 3.5-year span. We also plant all the flower planters along Main Street. It's an excellent organization. I'm very proud to be the liaison to it. All the following names are current members except Bill McGolden. He is a new member, but we're very excited to have him. He's a very enthusiastic young man. So with that, I will read the names, Mr. President. Motion A is a motion to appoint Bridget Van Dorn to the Shade Tree Commission with a term to expire on June 30th, 2016. And she is a residential appointment.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any comment? Seeing that there's no comment, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson DeLoss.
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd.
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield.
Yes.
Councilperson Navarro.
Yes.
Councilperson Demko.
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion B is motion to appoint John Ferry to the Shade Tree Commission with a term to expire on June 30th, 2017. He is a business appointment.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any comment? Seeing that there's no comment, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Boyd.
Yes.
Councilperson DeLoss.
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield.
Yes.
Councilperson Navarro.
Yes.
Councilperson Demko.
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion C is motion to appoint Bob Portigal to the Shade Tree Commission with a term to expire on June 30th, 2017. Bob is a residential appointment.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any comment? Seeing that there is no comment, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Navarro.
Yes.
Councilperson DeLoss.
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd.
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield.
Yes.
Councilperson Navarro. Councilperson Demko.
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion D is a motion to appoint Bill Modowden to the Shade Tree Commission with a term to expire June 30th, 2018, and he is a residential appointment.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any comment? Seeing there's no comment, roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson DeLoss,
Yes.
Councilperson Navarro,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko,
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion E is motion to appoint Marlene Pendleton to the Shade Tree Commission with a term to expire June 30th, 2018. She is a residential appointment.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any comment? Seeing there's no comment, roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson DeLoss,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Navarro,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko,
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And motion F is motion to accept the resignation of Administrative Secretary Edna Moores as of Friday, August the 8th, 2014.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Finance, Councilman DeLoss.
Thank you, Mr. President. A motion to approve the August bill list and the bill bid list addendums.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any comment? Seeing there's no comment, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson DeLoss,
Yes.
Councilperson Navarro,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko,
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to adopt resolution number 2014-17, a resolution of the Borough of Carnegie, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, establishing fees for the filing of fees for false alarm by fire alarm device.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any comment?
I guess I have a question. So is it two separate because we have one for, so we only put in the fees for the fire, not for the burglar?
That's the other one.
The police fee will be separate
The police.
and would potentially change if we do that.
No, this is setting the fire department false alarm fee.
Okay.
Any other comment? Seeing if there's no other comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
The last motion, Mr. President, was a late invoice that we received, so it was not on the bill list. This is the invoice from our attorneys. A motion to approve the payment of the July 2014 Gates to Sarah Nicholas invoice.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any comment? Seeing there's no comment, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson DeLoss,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Navarro,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko,
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public Works, Councilwoman Demko.
Motion to approve payment estimate number 4 to Monjovi and Sons Excavating in the amount of $21,664.94 for work completed between July 1st, 2014 and July 31st, 2014 for the 2014 sewer contract number 2014-1C specialty repairs.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing that there's no discussion, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson Navarro,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson DeLoss,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko,
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve payment estimate number 2, final, to Youngblood Paving, Inc. in the amount of $19,418.97 for the final redrainage for the 2014 pavement maintenance program contract number 2014-2.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any comment? Seeing that there's no comment, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Navarro,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Boyd,
Yes.
Councilperson DeLoss,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko?
Yes.
Council President Katina?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to adopt resolution number 2014-18, a resolution of the Borough of Carnegie, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, entering into an agreement 5-year with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for the Allegheny County Municipal Winter Traffic Service Agreement.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion or comment?
I'd just like to make a comment so everybody knows that these are the roads that the county pays Carnegie's Public Works to keep clean in the wintertime. Snow removal like Mansfield Boulevard and a few other streets.
It's actually PennDOT days.
I'm sorry, PennDOT.
Any other further comment? Seeing that there's no other comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to ratify the decision of council to award Gary Mancini Construction to begin emergency work on the Greenbrier Drive storm sewer repairs.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any comment or discussion? Seeing that there's no discussion, just to clarify, this was deemed an emergency job by KLH because of a blockage, I believe, or is that correct?
It was collapsed.
It was a collapse.
Yeah, we had to do a phone, because it was an emergency, we took a phone vote, so we're ratifying that decision obviously tonight with this motion. So that's the clarification on it. All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to enter into a 1-year extension for borough waste collection with Allied Waste Republic Services, Inc.
Comment?
Need a second? 1 second.
Second.
Comment?
Comment. I'm sure many residents are aware, as well as all of us up here, that there were some ongoing issues with Allied. However, in the last 3 weeks at least, the service seems to have vastly improved. They've taken our complaints seriously, and they seem to be getting the job done. And certainly, if there is dissatisfaction by any of our residents, and you're not getting satisfaction through Allied Waste, you need to bring it to our attention, because we don't always know. In my area of Irish time, the garbage pickup is improved, and the new drivers that are on the ride are very professional, very courteous. So if any of you are experiencing something different out there, you need to inform the borough, just so that we're aware of this and we can address the issue. But I've talked to some residents from Logan and up in the Heights, and things seem to be going well at this point.
We did table this motion last month because of obviously all the concerns that we had with Allied Waste at that point in time because of the service issues. So this obviously is bringing it off the table and going back into the service agreement for the 1-year extension on the contract, which to my knowledge at this point in time, I haven't heard of any additional complaints. After they after they met with us and brought on more staff, it seems like all of the problems have pretty much been worked out. So as Councilman Zorzo said, if you do have anything, please alert us so that we can respond and take care of that as soon as possible. So, thank you. Is there any additional comment? Seeing that there's no additional comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
You're opposed?
I am opposed.
All those opposed, so Phil opposed. So it passes 5-1.
Motion to permit the Carlinton Soccer Association to use both upper and lower fields, concession stand, and restrooms at Carnegie Park on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Sundays from noon to 5 p.m. and Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 5 p.m. until dusk beginning September 2nd through October 25th, 2014 for Community Soccer League.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion or comment? Seeing there's no discussion or comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Public safety, Councilman Boyd.
Motion A is a motion to adopt Borough Ordinance 2401, an ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 15, Section 205 of the Borough Code of Ordinances relating to motor vehicles and traffic. Basically, what this is adding on to the ordinance that allows for 2 hours parking only on borough residential streets. On the hill behind us here between Church Street, or on Church Street between Cubbage and Margaretta, and on Doolittle Street between Fifth Avenue and Branch Street.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing that there's no discussion,
I just make one brief note. This has to do with Port Authority bus parking. There's a lot of people who can't fit into the lot and they end up parking on front of people's homes all day long. And then the other question I have is if it's approved, Dan, would they be able to get these signs up relatively quickly, or they're not in yet?
I'm not sure how many you have in the building, store them.
Okay, thank you.
the motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Motion B is a motion to advertise Borough Ordinance 2402, an ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 6, Part 3 of the Borough Code of Ordinances relating to nighttime curfew for minors.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes. I will vote tonight to advertise this, to forward ongoing conversation and maybe more thinking and more ideas. I was going to vote no, and then I realized that, just putting it out there for advertising, people will be able to view it and give us feedback and see what direction we go.
Mr. President, I think we should give the times, right? I mean, there's probably people who don't know what times we're talking about.
Our current curfew is 11 p.m. for those under 18 years of age, and the proposal is to change that back to 10 p.m. It was 10 p.m. I may be the oldest. It was 10 p.m. since I was a kid, and 2 or 3 years ago, a group of Carleton students came in and persuaded might even been more than 2 or 3 years ago, a few years ago, a group of Carleton students came in and persuaded council that they're good kids, they don't need to be watched, they're going to get home late, that it should change until 11 o'clock, and they did it in a very convincing way, and after listening to a group of folks with opposing view to the 11 o'clock curfew, it looks like we're going to consider if it may be better for the borough at this point in time to change it to 10 p.m.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion or any other comment? Seeing that there's no other comment or discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Community Development Code Enforcement, Councilman LaVar.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to adopt Borough Ordinance number 2400, an ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie granting the conditional use application of Excel USA Trading and Service Company to utilize a property located at 39 West Main Street, property 103-R-104, and to operate a personal service business.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. This is the outcome of obviously the conditional use hearing that we held for the massage services. business, obviously, 39 West Main Street, just so everyone knows what this exactly is. Do you want to, can you spell out briefly what the conditions are?
Yeah, we've outlined several conditions that we're going to place, that if they're acceptable to Ms. Wen Shen, then they would be in place over the business. First one is that as a condition of the issuance of an occupancy permit, the maintenance of that occupancy permit in good standing at all times, the applicant shall provide proof of compliance, provide proof of compliance with all applicable federal, state, county, and borough statutes, ordinances, regulations, licenses, charters, and other approvals, including the maintenance of a current valid massage therapist license issued by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for all masseuses working on the premises. The second condition is that they shall conduct their business between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Monday through Sunday. The third condition is if they're going to place signage up, they will seek approval of the Borough Council before that signage could be placed on the exterior of the building. And that's consistent with the Borough zoning ordinance. It can additionally, the Borough, if they fail to comply with any of the provisions provided in here, can obtain a injunctive relief and order them to immediately cease and desist upon a notice of violation for any violations of federal, state, county, or local statutes, ordinance, regulations, licenses, charters, or other approvals. And the failure upon due notice should result in, or shall result in, a verification of the conditional use approval. And they will pay the cost of getting the hearings and all that stuff for the conditional use application prior to the issuance of an occupancy permit.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. Is there any discussion or more comment on this? Seeing that there's not.
I just had one question, Mr. Solicitor. I know the owner doesn't speak English. Were you able to engage their solicitor who's here and did he convey that to her? Did he convey that to her, and does she understand the conditions?
I provided you a copy of this prior to. I provided you a copy of these.
Yes, Mr. Solicitor.
And does she understand?
And Quinn does understand.
Yeah, she
You've gone over
understands.
with him?
She understands and she consents to the conditions.
Okay. But she understands if she doesn't consent, she can appeal.
Correct.
That's part of this ordinance.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Me. Motion carries. We'll have committee reports. Councilman Sarsfield, Administration.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only thing that I'll report this evening is that at this week's Shade Tree Commission meeting, we will be looking at the basketball court, the placement of it, and possible suggestion of more planting of trees and flowers up at the park, moving forward with our next phase of planning there. And I'd already met with the president of the Shade Tree Commission, update him, so we will have that discussion Wednesday and promptly get back to council, let you know what our recommendation is.
Thank you. Finance, Councilperson Laws.
Only one item, Mr. President. Our tax collectors reported that the initial income for property taxes have started to come in, and we have received a little over $300,000 during the month of July. That's all I have.
Thank you. Code Enforcement Community Development, Councilperson Lamar, anything?
Mr. President, only that I'd like to welcome the new business to this town. And on behalf of the borough, we're glad that you'll be part of our community. Look forward to the new businesses being a vital part of the community and hopefully bringing this traffic to the community. And I just want to say welcome on behalf of all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Public Works, Councilperson Demko. Public Safety, Councilperson Boyd.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention, I might as well admit it. I do. There you go. Yeah. He was helping me not pay attention. I do have one piece of news from the public safety front. One of our ambulances is down. It has a blown motor, which really shouldn't affect service because there's typically 2 crews working all the time anyhow. So there's still 2 ambulances in service, but it could be some time until funds are available or they find a grant or whatever to bring this ambulance back in service.
Anything else?
That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have a report this evening. Manager's report, Steve?
I just did want to note one thing. Obviously, everyone knows that we've had the Track Community Project with us in Heidelberg, Scott as well, and I just want to let everybody know that within the next month it will be coming to an end on the 27th of August, which is a Wednesday. Congressman Tim Murphy, there will be kind of like a ribbon cutting ceremony in Heidelberg at 6 p.m. So if any residents or anyone would be interested in attending, it'll be in Heidelberg at 6 o'clock, and it's been a long time coming, and hopefully everyone enjoys the new lighting and such. So that's all my report for this month.
Thank you. Councilman Boyd, anything for the volunteer fire department EMS?
Yeah, from fire calls and EMS this month, we had 14 fire calls, incredibly slow months, and we're very grateful for that. And 188 EMS calls were answered last month.
Thank you. Junior Council will resume again in October. We are accepting applications / resumes for anyone interested. Junior Council will continue that through September, and we'll make decisions and obviously get them sworn in at the October meeting. Mayor's report?
Thank you, Mr. President. Criminal arrests and citations for the month were 33. Traffic citations were 57. Parking tickets numbered 111. Complaints and self-initiated activity by our department were 1,032 calls. Just want to talk a little bit about some of you that are on my email list and have received information about a burglary. We've actually had, in the last month, we've had 2 daytime burglaries. The good news is that we were able to get prints from one of the burglaries. We were able to identify a suspect from those prints, and that arrest actually happened earlier today. So that's good news on that. And we have a very good lead on the other burglary. We have some prints on it, and they're in the process of matching up those prints, and we're going to see where we're at with that. We should hopefully have, by next meeting, at least have additional information. Just want to alert everybody that most of the burglaries that do occur, I know they can happen any time during the day, but most of them that do occur in the country occur in the daytime. And both of these burglaries, when they occurred, they were through open windows. So I know in the summer it's tough not to keep your windows open, but especially on the first floor, and for those who do not have an air conditioner, I know that's more difficult. But on the first floor, it'd be nice when you're not on the first floor, when you're not home, if you keep your doors and your windows locked. That's probably the #1 prevention. It won't stop it altogether, but that's the #1 a lot of times they look for ease, easy access, and that's an easy access. Also, on the same note, recently we've had a number of reports of thefts from parked vehicles. And all of these reports are the same MO. It's the individuals are out there looking for open car doors. And when they find an open car door, they go and they ruffle through the individual's stuff. This is a crime that happens probably in every community every year. Ours, it was kind of low for most of the year, but then this last couple of weeks it has spiked. So I want to remind all residents to remember to lock your vehicles. Once again, it's just a layer of deterrence. We very, very seldom, and I can't remember the last time we've had a smash and grab in a car. Chief, can you remember the last time we've had a smash and grab?
I can't, all the ones we have now are unlocked cars.
Right.
They're trying to door handles and
Right.
taking small items in the glove compartment or center.
So it's a crime of opportunity, obviously. So please lock your vehicles. We're still waiting for the sign to come in, the speed sign. That speed sign will be posted on some of the more, the higher traffic routes. And what it will do is it'll alert people when they're exceeding the speed limit, which it should get a lot of use in our community because we get that report on just about every road, including my road. My parked car was just hit the other day again. It's the fourth time in front of my house that I've had a parked car hit. So unfortunately, I didn't catch anyone that did. But graffiti. We do have some issues with graffiti in the neighborhood. The chief and I are going to be meeting with the business owners on August 21st, I think is the date, at the BBOC, and start talking about, just come up with a little bit of an anti-graffiti plan. The graffiti it's what I would call small-time graffiti. Amateurs just trying to tag something for the thrill of it. We do keep an eye out for them. In the last few years, we have busted a few people, but we're going to hopefully provide a little more alert to the business owners with some protocols for what to do when you have graffiti and move forward and work on this together. Graffiti is a difficult problem. It can happen anywhere. If you've ever noticed, like even when you're going on to 79 over in Collier, if you look at every one of those pillars on the overpass going on to 79, somebody took the time and painted graffiti on every one of those pillars. Now, how is somebody able to do that without getting seen? But it happens, and that's why it takes a community to really stop graffiti. But anyway, we will address that with the business owners, and then, of course, if anybody in the neighborhood has any issues on graffiti, please call our police department and be more than happy to sit down and talk with you. Back to school. I know if there's any kids in the audience, I know a couple of people from CV are here. Back to school for Carleton is September 2nd. CV is a lot earlier, but I just want to remind everybody that we do have back to school. We will be out in full force, as we always are, but to make sure, especially now with 3rd Street closed, to make sure that the traffic people driving through town understand that back to school is coming up, and we will do our best to try to slow down traffic as much as we possibly can. Parkway construction. I had warned everybody about 3 months ago that the Parkway construction was going to start in August. From what I understand, it's still on pace to start in August. You see some of the pre-work being done in Roslyn Farms, and you see some of it done over in Green Tree. Lane restrictions should start occurring probably sometime in August. But the big effect on Carnegie won't happen until next year when they close entrances and exits to rehabilitate them. So I will try to stay on top of that and keep you alert of when those closures will come, and try to determine what we can do from our standpoint as far as traffic, and work with Joanne as far as keeping people coming into town for our businesses. Here's an interesting stat. Abandoned vehicles. We have abandoned vehicles are categorized as a vehicle that's on the street, parked on the street, with a sticker or a plate that has expired. Already this year we have processed more abandoned vehicles than we did all of last year. And for some that might seem like a problem, but to me that seems like good news, and here's the reason why. For years, we've been promoting to call the police when you see an abandoned vehicle on your street, and we're getting those phone calls now. And our police are handling them in an expedient manner, and I think that that's an easy fix for us. So if you see an abandoned vehicle on your street, call us, and we'll take care of it. So I give our police a lot of credit on that. Last month, we had last week we had the meeting on the workshop meeting, and I proposed to council about increasing our solicitation fees and reducing the hours for-profit entities that go door to door in our community. I think council was very receptive to that. What we're looking to do is make it just a little more even playing field for the borough and keep us in line with the other boroughs and townships on what their ordinances are. So that's what we want to make sure we do, that when it comes to solicitation, if you're going to solicit in our community, we just want to know who you are, make sure you get your badge, and reduce the hours for the for-profit, because every other community does it. Whether that's legal or not, it must be legal. I know our solicitor sometimes has questions about that, but it seems to be that the non-profits can go to 9, but the for-profits, there seems to be limitations on them in every other community. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully we can address that the way it needs to be addressed. I want to thank the chief. The chief has had a very busy last couple months. He's, in my opinion, he's done an absolutely fantastic job on servicing all the areas in our community, as tough as it has been. But one of the things that chief has been very aggressive about, he has increased our foot patrols in just about every area of the community, but specifically in the downtown the last 2 months. The numbers show that our foot patrols are more, the last 2 months were more than any of the years before us. When you compare the years before us, the last 2 months we've had more foot patrols than ever before. So I really commend the chief on being very aggressive in the downtown area. Chief, thank you very much. The Girl Scouts, they're just awesome. They're doing the Adopt-A-Block. They were there Friday night during the crawls, signing up people for the Adopt-A-Block. But what people don't know, about a week ago on a Saturday, if you saw a bunch of young girls out there lifting up the grates around the trees and cleaning all the litter and a lot of the grass out from under the trees, that was the Girl Scout troop. They also are out there cleaning our community as well as doing the Adopt-A-Block. And they did from all the way from Jefferson Street to Washington Avenue, cleaning out, lifting up the grates and cleaning out underneath them. I thought that was pretty impressive. So. Plus, those grates are pretty heavy. Those Girl Scouts are pretty strong. Boys and Girls Club. We are very fortunate to have the Carnegie Boys and Girls Club in our community. This summer alone, they're winding down with their summer camps. They have given out thousands of dollars worth of scholarships for people to attend the summer camps. They have serviced more than 1,000, I don't want to say more than 1,000 individuals, but there's been 1,000 spots all summer long that they've encountered for the summer camp. When I say spots, because sometimes kids go to 2 or 3 weeks in a row, but they've had, over the course of the summer, they've had 1,000 individuals that or spots that they've serviced for kids going to summer camp. So it was pretty impressive. And it's a very affordable summer camp. Keeps our kids busy in the summer. And like I said, they give out thousands of dollars worth of scholarship. We're extremely lucky to have the Boys and Girls Club. Last month I talked about the Hannes Wagner mural. We are well on our way. I've worked with the Carnegie Arts Initiative, and Bob P. with the Carnegie Arts Initiative has gotten some prices on it and found an artist to take care of it. We are currently working with the Elks for some funding. So the goal, what we'd like to do is do a complete Hannes Wagner makeover for the community. We're partnered with the Historical Society. They're working on, they've created a new Hannes Wagner room, which is much nicer than the old one. So it's a must-see right now. You get a chance, stop down Historical Society and check it out. We're hoping to redo the mural on the side of the American Legion. It's disintegrating as we speak. And then the other goal that we had talked about is we have a historical marker that needs to be revamped. We're looking into getting that revamped. We believe it'll be done through the people that have the marker. If not, we have some people who might be able to help us with that. And there's even, what we'd like to do with the historical marker is actually move it from Mansfield into the center of town somewhere so that more people can see it, especially on a busy Friday night. And so we're working on all those things right now. Nothing is concrete, but the first thing is getting some capital to address all those. And lastly, we had a flag ceremony. We had another flag ceremony on last Saturday. We honored John L. Welsh. He was a World War II veteran. He was in the Pacific Theater, and he actually was involved in the Battle of Okinawa. So it was actually an honor to do that, and we will continue those throughout the summer. We have them every second Saturday of the month, summer and fall. And if anyone knows of anyone they'd like to honor, feel free to submit an application, and the VFW will review it and make a decision. That's all I have today, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this point in time, we'll general public comment. Anyone wishing to address council or the mayor, please step forward, state your name and address.
Yes, my name is Jesse Chen. I'm the attorney for Ms. Shen, whose application is just approved. We'd like to express our deep gratitude to the council. As some of you may know, recently there was a news report saying Pittsburgh is probably one of the most unfriendly places to business, but we're very happy to see that Carnegie is willing to work with us. So we're very grateful and thankful for that. We do have two questions. I don't know if council may address it now. We'd like to bring it up for council's attention. We'd like to first ask if we may begin business operations immediately, since we do agree to the conditions.
Well, I believe one of the conditions is the cost we pay. And then after that, it will be up to Terry to, I think you've already done the inspections. He would have to do the schedule the inspections. They issue the occupancy permit to regular formalities of the occupancy permit, but if he's on that, as soon as that's not, there'll be no reason why he couldn't start with that.
Very well. And then how do we pay the amount that you wish to bill us? Will somebody send us a bill?
We'll take care of that.
Please.
We'll give them a call outside.
And then one final thing is that pursuant to the conditions, one of them includes getting council approval for all signs. Ms. Shen did bring her signs today for council's review. I don't know if council can take a vote or something else.
I mean, if she wants to show them, I'd be able to the president if she'd like to see them, but I think the approval, I think would be, I don't think they'd be in a decision to approve them tonight, but they could approve them next month. Yeah, if we see them.
Very well.
Oh my.
And there's not a hammer, it's like this.
Right. One of the concerns expressed was that it might be in neon and red, and it's obviously not in neon and red. This is a sign that Ms. Shen wishes to hang. Right now on the building on the side, there's a for sale sign, so she wishes that she might be able to hang this sign on the very top of the building right there.
I think we can only hang those temporary right under the ordinance. Is that only a temporary sign under the ordinance, Mr. Code Officer?
And you want to do this temporarily, is that correct?
Because the permanent sign can't be, if I'm wrong, I don't know, but from what I remember the sign ordinance, the permanent sign cannot be a, yeah. Is our,
I think it's 90 days on a vinyl sign, is that
Right.
right? 90 days on a vinyl sign.
I'm sorry.
The limitation for a vinyl temporary sign is 90 days.
I believe it's 30, but I'm not 100% sure. They consider that a banner sign, it's temporary.
We can discuss that.
Okay. And so, I mean, if it is a temporary sign, then we obviously do need to take it down and have a more permanent sign up. time expires. So when do you think we can get a response from council as to whether whatever signage he wants to present is acceptable?
Well, it'll be the next meeting, but we can discuss it tomorrow. No conditions for any sign. Yeah, I mean, we can discuss that. The approval wouldn't be until the next meeting, but the application would you give the example of what you would arrive at. And the best person to talk to about what would be acceptable would be Mr. Borough, the code enforcement officer.
I just have a question. It's a temporary sign,
Right.
good for 30 days, and we're gonna make her wait another 30 days to hang a sign for 30 days.
No.
You said we'd let her know next month. Next month.
I'm talking about
30 days.
Permanent signage he was referring to.
Well, this temporary sign.
That's
She
what
hang.
will be up there. I mean, yeah,
So she had the occupancy permit, she should be able to have it.
yeah.
So with respect to the temporary sign, the question is what should she anticipate being the lag time from this meeting until she can put a sign up?
Until Mr. Roman gives her an occupancy permit, I would say. That would be part of your occupancy permit, would be allowing a temporary sign.
I think what you're asking, because that's part of the approval, I don't think temporary sign is what I was contemplating. I was specifically getting at the bigger entity on site. But it would really be up to Mr. Roma if that's acceptable to council, which, I can't speak for them, but it would be up to Mr. But I don't think that the temporary condition is what we were getting at. We were talking about how I was getting at the approval of the permanent sign.
He was asking about the temporary sign. Terry, once she gets the occupancy permit, can she put a temporary sign up?
Would have to apply for a sign permit.
Can she apply for that the same time she schedules the occupancy permit?
I'm sorry to hear.
Can she, the same time she schedules, okay, for the inspection, can she apply for the temporary signage then?
Shortly.
That same day?
Yes.
So when you would go out and do the inspection, you could give her a yea or nay that day?
I would need to know the dimensions of that sign so I can apply to its location on the building so I can apply the ordinance. I can't give a blank, it's okay, or it's a no okay.
You ready for that, Don?
Yes. And then I guess next meeting she'll come in and present I guess it will be a drawing or a diagram of what her permanent sign will be, and then the council will be able to take a vote on that.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Jeff Steffen, 318 California Avenue. I've been counseling my tenants and sellers and buyers just to put whatever sign up you want because nobody knows what the ordinance says anyways. So when I was in high school, I worked in I'll tell you a little story. I worked in a food business in a mall. And it was owned by a friend of my dad. And once in a while, some friends would come by and I'd give them some free hot dogs and donuts. And I had a friend who worked at a movie theater right down the mall. And he'd come in all the time, and I'd give him stuff, and he'd give me stuff, tickets to movies, I'd give him pop, he'd give me tickets, you know. It was like a stray dog thing, you keep coming back for more, you know. Well, I didn't know it, but the owner of the business found out about it, and I got fired. And my dad was really pissed, of course. It was a friend of his. He got me the job, you know. So I was doing favors for friends, and I wasn't being considerate of the consequences the business owner and my dad had, you know. Now, if the owner of that business would have been giving away free stuff to people, it would have been okay. It was his business, you know. I doubt if he would have wanted any favors from anybody. So Why am I telling you this story? Well, I guess I always felt guilty about that, and I never apologized to my dad. He's gone now. But it sort of reminds me of what's going on here in our town. We have people who are voted in to take care of our interests, but favors get done for people at the expense of the taxpayers. One favor that's been exposed to all of us for quite some time, and we know it was a favor because it was never legal. And it's that thing that stares at us every day over there. It's that ugly little thing, that sign on top of that car. So I want to say one thing before I go on here. I have nothing against that business owner. This is a sign issue only. That is it. You all know I sell real estate in this town, and when people ask me the question, if this was my client and they said, can I put this sign up? You know what I'd tell them? I'd say, go ahead. It doesn't matter. What are you going to do about it? What are you people going to do if that sign gets put up there? And then this gentleman, who's an attorney, is going to come and say, go ahead, make us take it down. What is going on? I saw 3 council people standing over there on that corner one day, trying to figure out how they were going to appease this property owner. This bully, who is trying to bully this borough into letting him do something off of his business property. Mr. Lucas, last year, you called me after I requested a right to know act action. And you said to me, you can't deny this, you said it to me. You said, come on, Jeff, we all know there's no paperwork involved with that sign. Did you say that to me? Do the rest of these people know there's no paperwork involved with that sign? Do you guys know that? Do you know that guy that's bullying you, saying he has paperwork? Do you know there's no paperwork? You know that? Mike?
Mr. President, I don't know this.
Right, we're limited to
Started.
this isn't, Mr. Seth, this isn't an inquisition. Do you?
I'm asking questions.
Okay, but this
I'm
isn't.
asking questions. Do you know there's no
That is not
paperwork
the
involved
purpose
with
of
that
public
sign?
comment.
I don't know there's agreement. There's no agreement, or if there is an agreement.
All right. All right. A few days ago.
We have workshops.
Hold on, can I please talk?
Yes, sir.
After my right to know request, I received a letter in the mail, and what that letter's from this borough. And that letter quoted the vehicle ordinance. That vehicle is inspected, and he pays the fee to be in that parking spot. Now, Chief, I hate to put you on the spot. Does that have anything to do with the sign? Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's visit the sign ordinance. Is it legal or is it not? Terry, let me ask you this question. At present, is a business owner allowed to have a sign for that business off of his property?
There have been variances issued for that, yes.
Now, where would that be? Do you know offhand?
I'm not the keeper of records.
Okay. Who is?
Borough Secretary.
Okay. Beautiful. We've been through 10 of them since that sign has been there. All right. So the code reads that if you have a business, you're not allowed to have a sign off that business property for your business. Now, if you want a variance for that action, here's what you have to go through. You have to show, you have to prove, actually. State law requires that you prove that the property is incapable of earning a reasonable return on its initial investment Okay? This is stated. The property is being affected by unique or at least highly uncommon circumstances. All of these have to play into this, all of them. The variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. Well, here's what I have to say about that. Because if a variance is granted to that business owner and a sign can go up there, then that building business back there will want one, then Barb's will want one, then that environmental company will
Mr.
want
Steffen,
one.
I'm sorry, you
I'm
talk.
allowed to talk.
I understand
okay?
you're allowed to talk, and I'm also allowed to tell you that as much as you talk about Mr. Knoll being a bully, you're trying to bully us in the opposite direction.
I beg your pardon. I am stating a state.
I understand that, Mr.
You know what it
Steffen.
means?
We're trying to reach a compromise.
Well,
Do you understand what a compromise is?
Oh, believe me, I know what a compromise is. So let me.
And do you have a problem with a compromise?
So let me continue. No, I have no problem with a compromise.
So your point tonight then is,
Let me ask this question. I am, because as everyone in this room just saw, nobody knows what the sign ordinance says. So I'm just letting you know how it works.
okay?
Well, let me just speak to this, okay? Number one, you started out with favors, people doing favors,
Yeah.
okay? Every one of my colleagues that have been here, served with me, I have no special interest, none.
Let me
I
ask.
don't, no, let me
All right,
finish.
and then
I'll
I
let
have
you
a question
speak,
for you. Thank you.
okay?
Yeah.
I've never done anything based on doing a favor for somebody. I vote with my conscience. I vote with what my constituents tell me. I go out and I talk to people. So I don't do anything to gain anything for myself or anybody else. I vote what I think the best decision is for the town. As far as that vehicle, okay, it predates every single person up there. It predates our code enforcement officer, long here before any of us sat in these seats. Therefore, there's some concern of grandfather clauses. All that aside, okay, we're working with a business owner as we would work with any business owner. It wouldn't matter if it's Noors, BP, or who, I would work with that person the same way. We're trying to be business friendly, we're trying to make the community grow, and that's the bottom line.
Mr. LeVar, do you know what the code ordinance, what the sign ordinance says? Did you know that a grandfathered use has to have been a legal use to begin with? Did you know that? I know you know that, right?
Well, no, I guess it's my turn to respond. I'm not being questioned right now. You're allowed to comment. There are many issues that go beyond the sign per se. There's a lease involved. What does that lease mean? Does the lease add some rights more than just the time period because it's been going on for such a long period of time? I tend to agree with almost everything you say, except I would like to see if there is a way to resolve the issue without continuing.
There is a way. Change the sign ordinance. Change the sign ordinance. Let everybody do it.
Mr. Steffen,
But that isn't what our goal is. Okay,
We're
our goal is
working
not
with-
to do that. Our goal is not to let everybody put a sign like that. There is no question in anybody's mind that this is somewhat of an aberration, but it is what it is, and it's been there, and I've been here all 2 months, and I'm not ready to make a resolution
I
on
got
that.
you. All right, I can't wait to see what happens. That's all.
thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Teresa Bofo. I live on Borough Avenue. We've been here before. My hair is different, but I'm the same person. We've got the same complaint that we've had since we bought our home in 2006. It's out of control. We're here today to get our code enforcement officer to make a decision do something about it, and that's what we're here for. The problem is, the food is out. We have 20 raccoons feeding. We have, the biggest problem, what brought us here today, is that we have hordes of rats on the hillside of Borough Avenue. They're feeding, they're out at 10 o'clock in the morning, they're out at 1 in the afternoon, they're out at 4 in the afternoon, they're out at 9 o'clock at night. We live right next door to this. Right? We have a neighbor. They have mounds of tuna fish, raw peanuts, peanut butter, cat food. It's insane. We don't want no more. We've called the health department. I have letters. We have other neighbors who've called the health department. What we want is your ordinance, Part 5, Section 2-502, about feeding wild animals. We want something to be done. That's what we want.
He had 16 dishes over there about 2 weeks ago. I was in his backyard and they were up on his steps. They were aluminum pie plates overflowing with food, tuna, cat food. Raccoons are nocturnal animals. You can go there any time of the afternoon and stand there and just watch them. Going up the steps, down the steps, carrying, and then you've got the cats there carrying the rats. And, I just can't understand, why it can't be baited back there, why there aren't traps back there. Maybe Mr. Romeo won't allow for traps to be put back there, but something has to be, why can't that be overridden? This is a real hazard to not only animals, but people.
I believe there's actually been some preliminary discussion on this.
I do want to point out real quick that Councilman Boyd has been phenomenal over the last week. I run into him on the street walking my dogs, and he's really been the only one who's even, the chief has been up and talked to this gentleman, and we appreciate the little steps. Dan has been up there, he set probably 200 traps up there. And we appreciate those little things. But your ordinance says that if this feeding does not cease, that there's a punishment, there's a fine of $1,000. We need to get to the magistrate. Listen, I know the last time we were here, we talked about possible, some mental illnesses, and I'm just completely sympathetic to that. But none of you can say he has a mental problem. So we have to follow your ordinance, and we have got to get the magistrate involved and get it taken care of.
I guess Mr. President, our animal control, they're fantastic.
Okay.
I would think that maybe they work with Terry and work with the chief.
Okay, I have an email here, sir. I'm sorry, just
clarify this whole thing. First of all, right now the county has a case against them now, and he has till the 25th of August.
27th.
27th of August to clean up. You know how many times this has happened.
Right.
So they give them a $300 citation, and that's it. Then.
But this is a Carnegie problem. Really. You guys have an ordinance that we were instrumental in getting in place in 2012 when it was amended. When we moved here, there was no ordinance. When we started seeing rats and we couldn't even go outside because rats are in our drains, then you guys put an ordinance in place.
I agree with what you're saying, but the county itself can't do anything, apparently.
But you have an ordinance.
Well, then
So let's enforce it. I'm asking the code enforcement person to enforce your code, and I have a copy if you need it, of what his punishment should be.
Just to understand, Terry, why aren't we enforcing that section of the ordinance?
Yes. Somebody answer that for me.
I'm sorry, you asked me a question.
Yes. Just to understand, why aren't we enforcing that section of the ordinance?
I have to witness the activity.
Come on up. I invite you to my back porch any time of day. I'll cook you dinner.
Do you have pictures?
We brought them last time. I emailed them to Phil.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
The answer is
I
yes.
emailed them to Phil.
Okay.
They've been spread around.
He's passed them up to, I guess, whoever needs to. But
Can't you
per
bring in your
Phil's
own-
last email to
Can't
me,
you bring your own action?
it's,
Well, that's what it's gonna come down to.
Well, I think you should. If nobody else wants to, I'm just,
but what is that action?
What are you guys sitting up there for?
let's let
Right,
Terry,
that's why we're
I'm just
here,
saying,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Our code enforcement officer needs to answer the question.
If you read the ordinance as a person, okay? The fact that you have provided, well, first of all, nobody doubts your accusations. You've provided pictures of the animals. That's not proof positive. You've commented.
I brought a
that-
witness.
Please, let me finish.
okay.
You've commented that you have seen the guy, and you have seen the guy set up the food. But the process of law says that I must witness it.
Have you ever been to my house?
Come on up.
You never at my house.
Come on up. How about the traps were set at the neighbors next door? And
I
come on
wish
up.
I
Because
could.
he opens a trap and lets the animals out.
Can't we cite them and have them come
Yeah,
as
can't we offer
witnesses?
witness
Listen,
testimony?
may I speak?
That would
real fast?
only add to what I have the offer to the magistrate. It would reinforce the case.
So is there any certain times of day that he goes out and does this?
Listen, I come out, it starts at 6 in the morning, he comes out and he cleans his property from the day before. Collects all his trays, goes back to it, fills them all out, brings them all out, goes to his yard now, and he's putting shelled peanuts, whole kernel corn, and that on the ground. So that is what is bringing the rats.
About what time is that when he comes back out to do that?
Well, 6 in the morning on, he comes out probably twice a day to the end.
You can take a ride up there.
Can I tell you there's
Is he still doing this, or did he stop since the chief visited?
There's corn stalks growing
No,
on the
there was
hillside
rats
now
there, and now.
because of all this corn.
Yeah, but is
He
he
did
still
put-
putting out food?
Yes, if you go up there, they're on his back patio. But here's my question to you.
I didn't catch it. Did he quit, or
No,
is
he
he
did
still
not.
doing it?
No, he
They're
never has.
out there, the trays. What he did is on his back patio, he moved his hose. Yeah. So it's blocking more or less our view, but you can still get, and he's putting his trays behind it. And he put up a garbage bag and expanded it, so we couldn't see over it. So he knows. But, you know,
So the
I have
business-
to acknowledge, Chief has done a great job. He's come up there. Phil, you just got involved. Dan, fabulous. This is only my question. The last time I was here, everything that was said at the council meeting was, we're going to refer to the county. I worked for Allegheny County. I've talked to many colleagues. They asked me, what is your borough doing about it? I said, they referred to you. Why? If it is a mental case, that's fine. But there's not one person on this panel
No.
that can say, so what I found is, if he's breaking the ordinance, he has to go in front of the magistrate, and the magistrate can make the determination on what he needs help with, or if he gets fined. You, as the council ordinance officer, can't make that decision. The county says, yes, they can't take our photos either. They can't take them, but they come out. He's been fined 2 times by the county, $500 apiece. He keeps doing it. So when I talk to the Department of Health,
There's one problem. I mean, there's sometimes you can fine, if he's willing to pay the fines. I mean, I thought we put the fine in there for.
But your ordinance
Right.
says repeatedness will lead to jail time.
Yeah.
I'll read it to
up to
you.
30 days minimum in jail. Sometimes, you know, and I'm not saying in this case, sometimes that's the lesson that has to be learned.
So let me ask, not for you guys to answer, but let me ask a stupid question, Terry. How do we enforce this ordinance, or what needs to happen to stop this?
I just need to witness it.
Okay.
But
If
can I-
that's the
have you
whole-
ever been up there?
Well,
That's just
it's
a,
been going on for how long? Why haven't you not
Let
been up
me,
there?
please let me have an opportunity.
Mr. Chairman, I need to witness a person feeding the animals.
And in absence of that, there's nothing else you can do.
Not without putting the borough in jeopardy.
So even if you have witness testimony, we couldn't enter a fine and argue that before Dennis.
You'd have to ask your solicitor. And if I'm instructed to do so, I will.
You asking me?
Yes.
I believe that the ordinance does not require you personally see this.
Here's the
You
ordinance right
proceed
here.
on witness testimony.
Let's proceed on witness testimony.
Can I just ask one? If you don't see them, I could understand. But if you go up there and witness all the food on the ground, which states the ordinance, you can't have food on the ground. You have to have bird feed or something like that.
Bird feeders the only permitted.
Correct. So
It's on the
that,
ground.
I think,
It's on the
would be
ground.
enough to say he is breaking this ordinance and needs to.
If we cite him, would you offer testimony at the magistrate's
Most
office?
absolutely.
Does anyone have a problem with that?
No.
Absolutely not.
I would take it one step further. Let me suggest something. I didn't know we could arrest the guy. I say, if this next round at the magistrate, if it doesn't solve the problem, I think maybe we need to arrest him.
I think he's entitled to his due process.
Right, you can still arrest him.
Isn't that all the fines that he's been given? Isn't that his due process and the letters? I mean,
Yeah, there's a couple things we can take into consideration. Once, I've talked to him a couple of times, he admits to doing this. He's proud of it. He's an animal lover. He doesn't hide that he does this. Two, as far as the traps, I did talk to our animal control, and they said, once he stops, those animals won't come back. They'll come back a few days, and then they'll take a correct.
Right.
But because he's feeding them, that's why they keep coming back to the hill.
And I
But
agree.
once we
That's
get him to stop,
It's so
once we get him
disgusting.
to stop, all the rats in that won't come back, they're gonna stay in the creek. So the problem is getting.
But I agree with you there, and that's what Dan and I have had conversations before. Traps, yes, they come up every day. Dan, how many raccoons and that have we had in the trap? That's not, we gotta stop the source.
Right.
Like the chief said, you get away with the source, they're done.
It's like everything
It's
else.
done.
I mean, you gotta stop the sort, even like the deer around, there are a ton of deer around Forsyth. And I know there's a lot of people up there, up in that area, up in those nicer areas up there that feed the deer. And that just makes it worse.
listen, our gutters are filled with peanuts, cat food, corn. There's corn stalks growing on the backside of our.
Well, yeah,
there's
the
corn
birds
stalks.
are involved.
Because they're dropping the corn. There's corn stalks growing back there
We're going
now.
to cite him, so
Pardon?
we're going to cite him.
Okay.
You may need to offer witness testimony at some point.
Can you also bake the property back there?
I can't go on private property to bid.
So where
I
his
can
property
go on his
line,
property, but I can't go on the neighbors.
so where the property line ends, where his property line ends and then it goes into, say, Carnegie,
Like that.
can that not be baited back there, rat baited back there?
That runs into Port Authority property, then I can bait his property like I've done,
Yeah,
is all I can do.
we just need them to stop.
Yeah.
Before you leave, if you could give Steve your information so that when you're
He has it.
We have a grate at the bottom of
Well,
our
then they
driveway
don't have
for
the
water.
opportunity to breathe.
There's rats in it. There's rats in
If
our
we don't feed
grate
them, then they go away.
at the bottom of our driveway.
Yeah, they go
Question.
out for
The question is, what will it take to get this guy to stop? That's the big
The
question.
thing is, and I think the chief is, he's not going to stop.
Right, Joe.
The county has fined him $500 on 2 different incidents, he pays them. Now, like they have told me at the Board of Health, if it is a mental illness case, they're gonna send somebody out just to talk to him. If he turns them away, there's nothing they can do about it, until he's a threat to himself.
Last year, when I talked to them.
Right,
They
and,
told me they already sent somebody out there and it was a mental issue and they were taking care of it.
well,
And now you come back today and say this is all happening again.
yeah, they,
Because I talked to them last year, right after you were here, I called them
Right.
3 days in a row. They finally called me back, and said that they had gotten hold of his brother and his niece. or
well, his
something.
brother lives with him.
Okay.
he lives upstairs, the older gentleman lives downstairs. I think everybody's spoken to the whole family. I do have to say the younger brother has no control over this. I mean, he cuts the grass and stuff, but like he says, that's what he does. He doesn't leave the house all day long. He doesn't. Comes out, that's what he does. And, you know, and spends his money on food for all these wild animals. That's what he does.
Is he disabled?
He's not. He's not. He's totally functionable. When I've tried to speak to him, now I know every time I approach him, he literally runs in his house, or he'll run on the side of his house, and then he'll peek around the bend to see if I'm still around. You know, so the chief has spoken to him. So yeah, he likes what he does, but it's not a good thing.
Yeah, mental issues does not affect whether or not someone is violating the law.
Well, that's why when I spoke to him, if he comprehends what he's doing and he knows what he's doing then.
Right, it's
You
not
know,
gonna stop, right? And
right, so what I'm saying is like, you know, yeah, he can't hide behind mental illness. He knows what he's doing. He understands that it's wrong.
It's been documented.
You know, so.
One thing I will say, and it's not just with that issue, but even across the borough, we are experiencing, in my opinion, from the complaints that I've received, just a real problem with raccoons. I think we definitely have problems with rats because of unkept yards and stuff like that. But even more than that, I'm thinking we are experiencing real problems with skunks in our community.
Yeah.
There are just skunks. There are skunks that live next door to me. There's skunks every time I turn around, someone's saying they have skunks in their neighborhood. And I think that's an issue that somewhere down the line we're going to have to figure out how to address.
Well, then that's the same thing too with the statistics with the county. If you heard what the Board of Health is saying, this year the rabies numbers are up.
Right.
They have their people out baiting different neighborhoods.
In fact, right now they're baiting. I think Carnegie just got their notice.
You know, so, you know, that's, I got animals, my wife goes out there, you know, I just don't want anything to happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for all your pain. That's just crazy.
Hi, my name's Diane Waltz. I live at 619 Dow. It's actually Dawson. And I have a pink house that has been vacant because both people that live there are deceased now. It was scheduled for demolishing before the mayor was elected. And it was supposed to have been demolished a while ago.
And I bet there's animals living all through it too.
Oh, yeah.
That's a story
I got
we hear all the
skunks.
time.
I got skunks. I got raccoons. I have a child.
We have cats.
If my child gets bitten, well, she has Down syndrome, so she thinks all animals are okay. So if she goes up to a skunk or a raccoon and gets bitten because they're rabid, what do I do then? I need this house demolished.
What address?
My address is 619
No, the
Dow.
address of the house that you're talking about.
It's easy to see. It's a pink house that sits up there by itself, right?
Yeah.
Is it on down?
It's in Dawson.
421 Dawson?
Yeah.
It might be. I'm not sure of the address. I'm really not, because I think
No, that's not the one that's Mrs. Danks. It's the one,
It's down the opposite
it's
end.
down the opposite end. And it was your, when I was.
You know what, my address would have been 619 Dawson or 619 Dow. I chose Dow.
So this would be like 620.
508.
Yeah, and you guys have been cutting it, haven't you?
I'm not.
We've been
Yes,
cutting
yes,
for the
you
last
have.
couple of
Public
years.
Works cuts it.
Like
508.
twice a year.
Are we talking about 508 Dawson, Kelly Rose?
That's
It's on-
yes.
It's on the CD, it's on the list to be demolished. We have a grant coming that we actually responded to today. And then once the grant's awarded, we'll be putting out bids for it, and it'll be demolished.
Okay, so
This year?
time-wise, what are we looking at?
We got the money through the COG.
Yeah.
Community.
And it's on the schedule to be demolished. We've been waiting, we have a grant, we're waiting for the grant to be dispersed by the county. In fact, I just sent the solicitor's opinion to the COG today. And as soon, the grant's awarded, as soon as we get the funds, we'll go out to bid. And there's two properties on the CD 40 being demolished, 508 Dawson and 509 Anthony. It's days are numbered. And it will be hopefully before the winter, if not directly after the winter, it will be.
Okay.
Do we need any traps or anything, any baiting?
I have traps out that I've got, but if I catch a skunk, I was told I had to pay $65 for the removal. Now, I'm already paying taxes. I mean, really? You know, I have to pay $65 for an animal I didn't ask, I didn't buy.
That's an accurate statement because my mother just paid the $65.
That's the one animal control law.
They won't take it, I guess.
So can we shoot it then?
There you go.
If you can shoot it, let me know, because I'm shooting them in my yard, once they run across my yard.
It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I shot a raccoon I'm sorry, but I have to protect my family. I'm sorry, I'm gonna protect my family.
Skunks are becoming a bigger issue, obviously, and we need to revisit because I'm not sure what the answer is, and you're right, and you're absolutely right, it is $65 because they won't touch that. And I don't know what the answer is, but we definitely need to revisit it, and we're not gonna have an answer, unfortunately,
Yeah,
tonight.
I mean, they're having babies there, like the one next to me, they have two babies. My mother walks out with two babies right.
Yeah, I mean, I was standing with my dog talking to somebody, and a baby skunk ran in front of us. Thank God my dog is well trained, or he would have ran after it and I'd have got sprayed. You know, it's incredible. So please, can I have an answer if I come next month? Can I have some type of answer?
I don't know if we're gonna have it, it's probably gonna be something that we're gonna need to look for. Skunks are becoming a bigger issue. And obviously, I agree with you, I don't believe it's necessarily fair for the residents to pay the $65. But I don't have a solution, and we haven't even discussed exactly what we do. Maybe we look at possibly trying to budget money for the expense of, since skunks are becoming a bigger issue, maybe we look at budgeting money for it. I'm not sure at this point. It's definitely something that we do need to discuss, though.
I think probably the first step would be, is I know the game commissioner, he does the library, he's a docent at the library, he always tells me if we need anything. I think we should talk to him and find out what ways they take to remediate skunks in the neighborhood. I think that might be the first step. I'll give him a call right away and see if we can at least talk to him. He'll come to our meeting next month. Because there's a number of them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mike Lisk, and I live at 508 Bouquet Street. I lived there about 3 years. Our home is amongst the properties that are occupied by quite a few tenants. These properties have some frequent turnover. Some of these property owners, as well as the tenants, are not maintaining the property. At times, these properties are overgrown, littered with garbage, and at times are a nest for rodents. And the neighboring property owners, like us, we have to live in a neighborhood that is tattered with this unpleasant condition. And which is times an embarrassment when friends visit and causes some anxiety, knowing that your property values can be determined by the condition of these other properties. One of these properties is 318 Academy Street. It's been overgrown for over a year. And myself and the people on Plum Street can't believe that this condition still exists to this day. I've resided in a number of communities in my life, and this problem would have been resolved a long time ago in those communities. There are 2 or 3 other properties within a block of me that are in the same condition. Complaints have been filed, and there has been no call to action for property owners. And the question is why?
When did you file the complaints and who with?
I filed the complaints with Mr. Roma, and we had a citation sent out on this property in probably, October, November. And the gentleman is finally going to get a hearing on August 27th at the magistrate's office. That's just a long time to be waiting for somebody to cut their grass.
Yeah, and then what they'll do is they'll cut it right before they go to the hearing, and then the whole cycle will start over again. Let me ask you something too about 318, I'm sorry.
That's all right, okay.
There's property right next to 318, because I gotta go on there all the time. To get to the parkway.
This house is up for sure.
Yeah, but there's property right next to 318 where it's overgrown, it's like vacant property, and there's some overgrown stuff in there, and I think it's cut part of it, cut part of it's not.
Yeah, the Borough, Dan's guys, I think they went in there a couple weeks ago and cut most of it, but there's a section where there's some real high stuff, probably about 4 or 5 feet later, the property that's not cut, you know, but most of it was cut. But, you know, this gentleman, he resides somewhere in Ohio, and this is just indicative of somebody that doesn't have to look at this and deal with this. You know, it's kind of unfair that that guy gets to live where he lives and he can just let this place look like shit, you know? And that's all I can say about that.
This house does have a mortgage.
We need to notify the mortgage.
It's up for mortgage, it's up for share sale. This house does have a mortgage on it. And I've had some success with notifying mortgage companies. We can do that. We can make sure that
Like I said, that's just one example. Now, the folks next to us, there's a duplex. Oh, yeah, the duplex, the folks have all deceased. We filed a complaint. Mr. Romo, you know, responded with, you know, the fact that the owners are deceased. And so it's hard to believe that there's an estate and nobody's responsible for that. I mean, we just let that go. I mean, nobody has to go over there and take care of that from that.
What's the address?
Yeah, 500 and 502 Bouquet Street.
Because up on one, they're on the Lincoln side, right? Okay, closest, we're.
Going on Academy, and then you go up.
I
know the guy used to have the big
I was
Steelers.
over there the other day.
Yeah, the guy had the big Steelers sign there on the greenhouse. So, you know, the thing is somebody's responsible for that property, so why should we live next to that until that estate settles or forecloses? You know, who would want to live next to it?
Did you file a complaint on that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Where's that in the process, Terry?
Owners are deceased.
And
Was it state?
How can I?
Yeah, okay.
So what does that mean? If the owners are deceased, then what do we do?
I'm obligated to notify the owners of the violation.
Okay, so that if
If
you
they're deceased, I
you
can't
can't
do
do that. Then what happens? Nothing? I mean, what I'm just saying is that, what's the next step
I
after
don't
that?
carry lawnmower.
No, I know that, but
I
I
can't
mean,
do nothing.
I understand that, but what's the next step?
I don't care.
Here's what I'm asking. If you check with somebody and find out that the owners are deceased,
Yes.
okay? Then what do you do next?
Nothing. I can't.
Nothing. You don't tell anybody?
Sir, my hands are tied.
I know, but what I'm asking is, why don't you tell somebody? Don't you go to the borough manager and say, look, we went here, the owners are deceased, where do we go from here? Give it to somebody else to take care of it? Or does it just stay unkept?
It's not my position to go beyond notifying the owner and finding out they're deceased. I can't do anything after that. I don't know where that you don't understand.
Whoa. I understand all of that.
I put it on a report, you all get it. If you
That
take note
report,
of it, then.
I do read that report. First of all, I do read the report.
What would you like me to do?
So what I'd like you to do is to try to have it addressed somehow, either pass it on to the borough manager or something, because just leaving it sit there doesn't solve the problem.
That I will do.
And
I think we owe you an apology, obviously, so on behalf of the Council of Carnegie, we're sorry, and we'll get these addressed.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you taking the time.
My name is Lisa Bowser. Mike is my fiance. We live at 508 Bouquet Street. And pertaining to that property there, that double home, there are family members who I know that they're family members because when one of those people died at that house, I paid my respects and met the family members. So there has to be an estate. There has to be somebody. There's family members that come in there, not often. I can't even tell you when the last time they came in. I don't even know. But the point is, somebody has, that's an estate. Whether it's in foreclosure, whatever it is, it's an estate. Somebody's name's on that house.
That doesn't necessarily mean they hold up an estate. If you go back and there be an administrator or executive.
Understand, yes. I mean,
And this is the first time I've heard about problems.
Oh, okay.
So I will.
We need to check in.
First thing in the morning, I will know if there's an executive or administrator that we can go back.
well, that's what my thought was, so I just wanted to
And you're welcome. Anyone else wishing to make a comment?
Yeah, I'm ready to try. My name is Eric Tiberio, 603 Gormley Avenue. Mostly questions. That was suspicious.
Oh, I'm waiting to hear it.
Okay.
Lay it on us.
I have a question for you. Did you get your no truck signs put up
They haven't come yet.
Right, they're on order.
They're on order.
Okay. How about the sign for the right turns?
That's the one that's going up here, coming down Summit. It'll be the trucks, no right turn will be there right at the stop sign.
Just all trucks? That's what I was trying to find out. How did you word it?
I just put trucks.
Trucks?
I can't put a building. I only have so much space.
8-wheelers enough or something like that? Tractor trailers?
I mean, they can only work with the certain amount of signage that is out there, correct, Dan? I mean,
Right,
it's kind
there's
of,
certain state specifications you have to meet with everything, and I'm sure that all that is.
Well, that truck's in Carnegie Borough. You people can't come up with your own design or wording?
signs are like state standard. I mean, to give you a point, Leonard, at some point, it's like 2017, every municipality in this whole state is gonna have their street signs updated. Okay, because nationally, they want all the signs to be the same. So whether you're in Nashville, Tennessee, or Carnegie, Pennsylvania, they want them to be the same. So as far as us creating our own sign,
Okay, let me go on to two other things here. There are some signs that were posted on that property going on the sharp curve on Chestnut, where with arrows indicating a sharp turn. You know what I was talking about?
Yes.
yes.
Were those just put up recently? Last few weeks?
I think they've been up a while.
Puts them up in order.
State PennDOT puts them up, yeah.
Okay, how about the one that's on Summit, house address number 1 on Summit Street? It's that great big arrow indicating.
That's a state sign.
That's a state sign?
Yes.
It's on Carnegie property, Carnegie Borough property. Yet they can tell me that we cannot put a sign.
I think it's on a state right.
It's a state right of way.
State right of way.
Yeah.
So my street's state right of way.
How far where is the sign? How far is it?
It's on Summit Street.
But how far from the intersection?
All right, you've got a road there. What are we talking about? 16 feet wide? 8, what's the name of that street going up in that alley?
Henry Lane.
Henry Lane. After Henry Lane, that sign is right there, maybe in 3-4 feet. You've got from Chestnut, you've got Henry Lane.
Okay, that shouldn't be PennDOT, that should be us.
It's still, it's a PennDOT sign, it says right on the sign PennDOT.
I think the state can put traffic control devices anywhere within a.
All I'm trying to get at is if they can put that sign on the main property, we should be able to put a sign out on Chestnut saying no left turn coming up that hill. indicate, and we can do it on Carnegie property. When you asked me how far in it was, did you have a figure in mind where we could legal or illegal?
I thought it was within X amount, like 10 feet at the end of, from the center of the road on either side. But it's not, it's clearly,
Well, the sign I'm talking about.
yeah, it's clearly nowhere near the state road.
But the sign I'm talking about now would be right up close. It doesn't have to be, it could be in maybe 6 or 8 feet on Mrs. Sapinsky's property. And I can check with her and make that legal, because those trucks are taking that turn anyway, and they're basically making a new road on her property. And the culvert right there is being destroyed, curb and sidewalk are already destroyed, and that's only been happening in the past 4, 5, 6 years. By the way, oh, you mentioned you had a PennDOT down there on Third Street. You discussing some work on Third Street?
No, it was the final walkthrough of the Third Street project, the Tri-Community project.
Was it for again?
For the Tri-Community project that ran all the way through Heidelberg, Scarlet, Carnegie. That was your final walkthrough to see if there was any, Danny was there.
So Mike and PennDOT up there on that, it was see what they're doing to us, it's basically out of the question.
I guess it's not out of the question. Our one engineer
Yeah,
has good
our one
communications.
engineer is actually pretty good, so we can talk to him about it and see what he can get through PennDOT.
I'm still saying, you would probably put that no left turn and be on Carnegie property. I don't know if there's a set distance from the road.
It's not about the location. It's not about the location of the sign, Leonard. We aren't allowed to attempt to control traffic on a state road.
I'm not asking you to control traffic on a state road. I'm asking you to control traffic on Summit. I can block him from turning, but I can't control the speed or anything else.
Nice.
I can control whether or not they can come into a specific direction.
It's still.
I'll tell you something else. Excuse me a second. I have seen these signs all over the place where they come in like this, down and on again, indicating a narrow road, single lane or otherwise. That has to be put up there on that upper part of Summit. Because those trucks, you put 2 tractor trailers side by side, they even gotta come up on my property, and I got curb put in up there. And they'll destroy it, which they have been doing, or over in my next door neighbor's yard, where they ripped out her entire curb. Nothing exists anymore. So, I mean,
Let's get in contact, Steve, let's get in contact with Bob Robinson, and you and Bob Robinson and Public Works can go up to Leonard's and take a look to see if there's any suggestions that he can come up with that we can go to PennDOT on.
We're not. We're not doing right.
Well, that's what we did in the first case. I don't know if we can ask forgiveness twice. I mean, once is.
Well, I mean, as he says, if there's a way to put a sign somewhere that's on Carnegie property, not trying to control traffic on a state road.
I think it is. It's
Could be a
controlling it's controlling the traveling direction. But again, if Bob gets up there with that,
Yeah.
we'll
If we can see what Bob says, I mean, Bob might have a whole other
I'm
thing.
not controlling traffic direction on the road itself, only what tries to come into Carnegie.
You are controlling it on Chestnut. You're telling them which way they can or can't turn.
Whatever way you want to say it, I think we can do it.
I think our engineer will give us good indication.
I'm not going to proceed with anything else except for one.
Leonard's applying for our new engineering position that we're creating. I'm sorry. I said Leonard's applying for our new engineering position that we're creating.
He's interning right now.
Gentleman out here, I don't know if he's still here or not, mentioned about a bully with that sign down there on the street, on the car. Well, that bully is still dumping in the park. And I mentioned this to you people, and nobody's doing anything about it. I don't believe the chief can do anything about it, unless I guess he's doing some construction.
Dumping in the park?
I said to you, and you said you couldn't do anything about it.
I think you were talking about the work they're doing up there.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about. I said, that's not fixing it.
You could,
Who's dumping in our
Yeah,
park?
what, I'm sorry, what's this?
there's some work being done up there on some property. A couple of trees were cut down. I thought they were in Carnegie's property, but I may.
The emergency sewer repair are you talking about?
No,
or-
not that. This is a private property. The gentleman who owns that car down there, I don't want to mention names.
He lives in Upper St. Clair.
He's talking about, I guess, the
The former owner.
Oh, you made, okay.
It's behind Carnegie Park.
and he was dumping in the park?
He was done, yeah.
He put a form, I think, behind his garage, or on his, it's on his property, and it's not on the park.
Is there other dumping going on?
When I say dumping, it's like grabbing their tree branches and everything, and there's a culvert over there that we use as a water runoff. As a matter of fact, you feed a couple of lines into that culvert for running like down off the road up above. And from Chestnut, there's another culvert over down the small part. It's all caving in. I don't know where it's going from, but,
And they're throwing tree branches in that.
Tree branches and stuff like that in here.
Hmm.
And I just figure if he's allowed to do it, anybody's.
Nobody's allowed.
Yeah, he's not allowed to do it.
Nobody's
Nobody's
allowed. Who would check that out? Would it be Public Works to check it out and get back to us and let us know what's in there?
Well, did you, when you saw this, did you, did you contact the police, or who did you contact?
I told you people. It was doing the workshop. I mentioned it to you during the workshop.
I don't remember.
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, we'll check into it for you.
We'll check into it now. Who needs to check into it? Is it the police or the, start with Public Works?
Can I say something
Dan,
else?
can you check
Can
that?
before we, may I ask this man one question?
Leonard.
Leonard. Hi, Leonard. Did you see a person dumping this?
I did once, and matter of fact, I did twice, years ago.
Not recently.
Not recently, I didn't see when it was done, but I took a couple of pictures each time, and as the rubbish increased, I took pictures probably won't show which.
Occasionally, I represent alleged bad guys, you know? And you've got to see it. No, the case was with the rats. I believe that we might have that one pretty good, because I'll bet that they saw this meeting. If we see it, or we have somebody who did see it, who will swear, at least you have some evidence.
I'm not trying to capture the guy or anything like that.
You just wanted to stop. You just wanted to stop.
I wanted to stop. They had a sign, no dumping, down where the dog park is right now, about no dumping back there when they had it as a landfill, $500 fine. People came in just constantly, dumping.
I got you. But the only way to stop a person from doing it is to say that somebody saw somebody doing it.
Put the sign up there, even temporary, hey, stop dumping here. I was even tempted. Stop right there.
I was dumping a sign up at my house, we dump there all the time. Somebody ripped it right down. And
They
so
dumped
we
it
love
where?
that.
Where'd they rip the no dumping sign?
Right on Boston, we have woods they cleaned up a couple years ago. I put my own sign up, and somebody come along, ripped it down, started dumping them, so.
Can we put a no dumping sign up there then?
Where? Where's it?
On my street again,
Dawson.
yes.
Can we take care of that, Danny? Thank you.
Okay, I have one thing else to say, because this is really hurting me. These poor people here, is there no way that you can cite that gentleman?
Yes, we are.
Wait a minute, that he has to pay for the removal of those animals, because they're not just gonna go away overnight. They're gonna come back and come back and looking for food.
Yeah, one bad one at a time. Main thing is to stop.
Okay, well,
Okay,
I'm
you gotta
just,
introduce
I'm trying to
yourself.
offer a solution.
Go ahead. Yeah, I just want to say something really quick. This is real cute and all, and I haven't been to a meeting, well, I used to come when the old council was here, and then I just wouldn't take it anymore, so I left. So this is my first time coming with this council. And actually, my grandfather used to work in this watchtower right over here. But I just have a suggestion in sitting here. You know, our backs are to everybody here, and my suggestion was, did you ever think about maybe moving this so that everybody's concerns can be addressed, not only the board here, but, you know, to the rest of the audience here? Because it's hard, yeah, like over there, because it's hard to hear, you know, when the gentleman's talking and everything, we're all having to look at the backs. In addition to that, we have to like turn around to see other people on the board, so, I don't know, it was just a little suggestion that I had of other things.
I don't like it. Thank you.
Good idea.
Hi, my name's Cheryl Steffen. I'm a taxpayer at 318 California Avenue. And I just have some observations and some comments. I promise I won't ask any questions that'll get anybody upset. One, I just wanted to also acknowledge the chief and all the extra patrols. The last 2 weekends on Main Street in Carnegie have been pretty awesome. And as a resident and as a long-time resident of Carnegie, it's really exciting. There's a nice feel about the town. Talked to some people today with businesses on Main Street, and they said it actually even feels better than before the last flood hit. And I think we have some really nice momentum going, and that's great. And that being said, to continue that momentum, I think it's important that we all work together and try to keep the personalities and the personal attacks and accusations, and that's not certainly why I'm here tonight. But we all have the same thing in mind. We want Carnegie Borough to continue to thrive and flourish and be a great place to live. I also want to thank the mayor. I've been meaning to do this for a long time. Jack, I think you're the best mayor we've ever had. You obviously, when I listen to your comments, you're obviously engaged with the people in this town. You obviously care. You ask great questions. I see you out and about all the time. And I would hope that everyone on council appreciates that Jack was elected as an independent and certainly has the townspeople behind him. And I would hope that everybody engages his thought process, because I know that it doesn't always go down that way. So I just thought it was necessary to say that. I, for one, really appreciate you, Jack, and would not want to be in this town without you. And I know the sacrifices. I'm sure you all make sacrifices. I just happen to know Jack's sacrifices a little bit more personally. So that's all good, right? That's exciting. So let me tell you the stuff that I'm a little disappointed in. I'm a little disappointed in, obviously, after tonight's meeting, we lack some processes and protocol on a lot of issues. And I don't know who's responsible for it. I'm guessing we all have to work on it together. But when you listen to the issues here tonight, lack of follow-up, nobody seems to know what, the signed ordinances are, what says, what does she do next, making a business, on one hand you say you're business friendly, on the next breath, council's telling somebody they have to wait 30 days to get their sign approved. I'm not really understanding that. So, to me, little contradictions there, which, maybe you might want to consider. A little concerned about the difference between, and this is just my own personal comment, just so you know. I understand compromise, I understand business friendly, I'm all for business friendly. For me, the law is the law, and you don't make excuses for it. And you either break the law or you abide by the law, and you represent us, the taxpayers. And before you go and tell somebody that they're bullying you as the president of council, you should try to understand where they're coming from. You're in charge of this town, you're the president of council, you had no comments for anybody tonight. So, nobody asked you to answer the question. We're just making comments. It's our right as a taxpayer to tell you our observations and how we feel. And sorry, you were elected, you knew the gig when you signed up. It's not always the best seat in the house. You guys put up with a lot of grief. We try to make it as fair as we possibly can, but the fact of the matter is, you signed up for the job. So you're the leaders of our town, and if we don't think you're doing the right thing, logic. I keep trying to fall back on logic. I understand that most of you weren't here when that sign ordinance went into effect, but see, for me, it's a bigger issue. We talked about it at the last meeting. Leadership is leadership. You either take care of issues, solve problems, abide by the law, or you don't. You don't make excuses. And so for me, the sign issue relates to every issue in this town. It relates to the flood, it relates to the sewer lines, it relates to the rats, it relates to everything in this town. And if you're not going to do a good job with one, I think you're not going to do a good job with the other issues. And that's why we're concerned, genuinely concerned. This is not personal. This is Carnegie coming back, This is our big opportunity here. I am looking forward to the flood update on the 20th, the next meeting. I have lots of questions on what's been done and who's been, doing what and what the issues are. And I look forward to that meeting and seeing everybody there. As far as the comment about, voting your conscience, I would certainly hope and expect you all to vote your conscience. Quite honestly, you don't have to defend yourself on that. But let's be honest, this is politics, and there's always special interests. It's politics. It's the essence of politics. So all we're wanting is that the majority of the taxpayers and the residents of this town get a fair shake. I don't have to like every decision you make. I really don't. But I need transparency, and I need honesty, and I need follow-up and hard work, and I need ethics and high morals. And I'll call that out every day of the week until I see it. Because I don't think we have it.
I'd like to respond to the last comment.
Certainly.
Because I'm new in the game.
Yes, you are.
And I've been listening.
Jury's still out on you.
Yeah, well, that's a good. And the jury may be out on me for a very long time, but I'm not here to tell people what they want to hear. And I tend to have a problem of living in the sanctity of my own mind before I come forth with the right decision for me. And the issue of the sign isn't just the sign. It has to do with a culmination of a lot of, look, as crazy as that sign looks, that's how crazy the legal issues are with respect to it. If someone's paying for parking, the parking of the vehicle has to go one way and not the other way. There's people that are in business that want to put up a different sign and possibly could do it if there's not a right-of-way of PennDOT involved with it. It just, things are not a matter sometimes as being as clear as we want them to be. And I guess I wrestled that with all day. The same way as I wrestled with the problem of going to Florida and getting stuck with 5 inches of rain this past week, and my 6.5-year-old said, "Gee, Daddy, this is a lot of rain," but it wasn't like that one Saturday night. And I live up on Swallow Hill and watched 5 inches of rain come down the hill. I expect it in Florida. I don't expect it on Swallow Hill Road.
Right.
So things aren't always just that clear. But I don't think there should be a question of the people sitting up here trying to skate issues or things like that. It's just, you're trying to make people get along, too. And that's a big part of calling something a community. And I don't know what kind of dysfunction may have preceded me. I just think if it's going to be dysfunctional, maybe we put some fun back into dysfunctional and listen to each other once in a while, okay? And figure out the abomination that this group of people told me about somebody feeding rats. I wouldn't be a nice neighbor to that man.
Right.
Okay, I get that. So that's one problem. The sign's another problem. I think the rats are a little more important.
But I'll tell you, my other concern, with all due respect, and I'm not an attorney, but I think when you have a clear law an ordinance in state law about a sign, and you let it go, and then you go out of your way to try to compromise, you're creating liability for the taxpayers of this
Well,
town.
we don't know that the liability hasn't already existed. That's part of it.
But if your actions aren't clear,
Well, I think the actions are going to be clearer in the near future, and I think,
Really?
yes, I do.
okay, well, time will tell, as they say.
Well, we had an open meeting earlier today, and we indicated that have been moves, I think, that have been pretty bold with regard to that sign. And now the question becomes, how do we find something, as you stated, not to just diagnose the problem, not to just determine what the pathology is, but is there a solution that doesn't require everybody to have a win-lose proposition? Maybe there's a better way out. I mean, maybe there's not, but I think there's been an attempt to do
You
that.
enter into a sales agreement to purchase a piece of property, it should be really clear what you own and what you don't own. And if the ordinance says you can't have a sign on a piece of property that you don't own, that's pretty straightforward and clear.
Yeah, but at the
So
same
I don't
point-
know where all the confusion is.
Yeah, but at the same point in time, there have been assertions by the property owner that was an agreement that, okay, well, we're trying to avoid going into litigation.
And again, I think you're creating it by the actions that you're taking,
Well-
so I just want that on the record. And as I said, it's been a pleasure to see everybody, and I'll see you on the 20th. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I would like to address the council one more time. Just on one thing. The sign you said, you would have put up, says,
I didn't hear you.
he says the sign will be trucks, no right turn.
Yeah.
That's all trucks. That's not going to be any, because there will be trucks, dump trucks, box trucks, and everyone who have that right to make that turn, will make that turn, and they'll be violating that sign. And the other ones are trying to, pardon?
If you violate the sign, you'll be violating the law.
Then you see, that's the tax on the hill. Always was a sign that's really.
I think what Leonard's trying to say, Leonard, you're just trying to say you want tractor trailers not to be able to utilize that area and make that turn. Yeah, I think we are allowed. I think we are allowed.
What can you fit?
So many inches across the sign to write all this. It's already between the stop sign and that sign, it's already on a 12-foot post. And that's all the higher I can go.
But I thought PennDOT has an actual,
Tractor trailer drivers.
right. I thought PennDOT has an actual either picture or code for tractor trailer, don't
It
they?
says no, it says local deliveries only is what the sign is for tractor trailers, to be the only trucks excluded from an area.
No, I thought they had, Mayor, I thought they had the trucks where you could see they couldn't make the turn.
I think we need to check with PennDOT on this. I hear what you're saying, Leonard, and it makes a lot of sense. We need to make sure, where we're at with the signage.
You got new trucks, already out there, they violate
Thank you.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Mr. President, just one more thing. We were talking about before, we had a number of the issues with vacant houses. A few years ago, I made a recommendation about coming up with a vacant property working group. We never got that underway, but I know other communities have gotten that underway, and I think Steve Buter has actually done some research on that too, right, Steve, with Crafton and stuff like that. And what they do is they examine each case, and then they would help it along so it wouldn't get lost in the shuffle. I think that might be something we want to revisit now. We model after a number of ones that are out there, and then some of the blighted programming that I've been going to recently have all recommended that that's for a small town, that would be a nice tool to have. So we can talk about it more. I can bring some more information in, but I just think it might help so things don't get lost in the shuffle when we have properties that we just can't solve the problem with.
I agree. Joanne, do you have something?
Yeah, I'll be really, really quick. Okay, I'm gonna add some fun to this evening. I think we need a little bit of fun, okay? Rotary SIP event, I've been Chartiers Country Club. We need your help. Rotary won this year Best Rotary in District 7300 in 90 years. We finally won it. Rotary gives out over $40,000 to the Carnegie area. Big supporter of the elementary school, Salvation Army. I can go on and on. I won't because it's a late night. What we need, butts and seats. Whoever wants to attend, I have invitations. If you can't attend, an ad, $75 in ads, that kind of thing. We're looking for supporters, sponsors. Just get some money to us so we can keep getting money into the community. September 6th, 6 o'clock, lots of wine, beer, fun event.
Nice.
That's it. I'll give them to you later.
Thank you. We'll now have Council Food and Welfare, Councilman Sarsfield.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to let everybody in the community know that Pastor Gary Miller of the First Christian Church will be retiring after 35 years of service to our community, and I just want to extend, great appreciation with the recent passing of my brother, Pastor Miller was there and was very helpful to the family. Carnegie Entertainment, Friday, August 15th, in front of the Rams. Free hot dogs, popcorn, Bobby B will be the entertainer. So it'll be right on the street. If you're not doing anything that night, come down and enjoy some free entertainment and hot dogs and popcorn. The next event after that will be August 29th, and we'll get the word out on that.
What time does the thing start on 15?
It is from 7 to 9.
Something going on the 22nd too, Mikey, or do I have my calendar messed up?
No, I have the 29th. Because we moved the one from last week because of the San Luis Fancy Festival, we didn't think, so that's how the dates go.
And that's the 29th?
Yeah.
Nice. I got the calendar messed up. Rats. Bad word. Bad word.
Big ass.
Mike, on those, I think we need to get with the chief too, because I
have-
have to say, well, the other thing is, there's a real concern, we gotta be careful where we block off, because if that's a Friday night, is it Friday night?
Yes.
The traffic in town in Friday night has been tremendous, and I think blocking off certain streets or access to parking lots would be very detrimental to businesses at this point. I mean, the traffic is just off the charts the last 2 weeks. Rick, you were down there. I mean, you stand at an intersection of Broadway, and literally it's almost impossible to cross because there's so much traffic. So, I mean, we do need to be very cognizant of that and be very careful that we don't cause any problems.
Councilmember Moore, Green Welfare.
Not at this time.
Thank you. Councilman Boyd, Green Welfare.
I can only tell you one thing. I was out and about on Friday night, and like everybody, you've got a positive vibe, and I had a bird's eye view. I had dinner at 1:31, and I was sitting on the balcony, and it was cool. I see the mayor up at the Carnegie Coffee Company on the balcony. I saw you guys drive by. I see the cops walking the street. I see everything buzzing, and then I see a taxi drive down Main Street and drop somebody off. A little while later, I saw a different taxi, because it was a minivan, drive down Main Street and pick somebody up. We're on the map. The taxis know where we are.
Yep.
And then I proved how old I am. I'm thinking taxis. I'm out or how old I am mentally. I'm out with a couple that's older than my wife and I, and they know all about Uber. And I kind of know the word, but Uber's cool. There were 3 Uber cars in Carnegie. They pulled up their little web app, showed it to me on the screen, and there were 3 Uber cars sitting around Carnegie looking for customers to pick up. I'm re-enthused about how cool it is to be in Carnegie. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Ross?
I don't have anything to say.
Councilman Duncan? The only thing I have to say this evening
is obviously, this council does a lot of hard work, and if there's a lack of policies, procedures, follow-up protocols, buck stops with me. I'm the president of council, and I apologize for that. However, I don't believe it's fair to impugn this council's honesty, integrity, especially when there's no specific accusations lobbied in each and any one of us. I wish Mr. and Mrs. Steffen were still here right now, because I wish they'd be hearing this from me. But to impugn our integrity, we're not up here because we're getting a personal kick out of this. We're up here because we're trying to move the town forward and do the best for everybody here. And sure, we might not make the best decisions, or we might not make the decision that's the most popular. We're trying to do what's right. And whether you agree with that sign looks horrible, that sign looks good, or what have you, we're trying to move forward, basically eliminate that sign, and try to come to a compromise with one of our business owners. As residents and taxpayers, I guess my question is, wouldn't it be and this is a rhetorical question, obviously I'm not asking for an answer, but wouldn't you want someone to work with you on trying to come up with a compromise if you had a problem? I guess that's what I'm saying then here tonight. I think we try to work with everybody to the best of our ability, and obviously we're not going to make everybody happy. It's unfortunate. We try to do our best, and I just ask that you take that home with you this evening. Thank you very much all for attending.
Thank you.